How's it going out there, YouTubers? Cyberneticshark here with another new movie review for you. So let's go right into this movie review and see what I saw. So the other day, I had the pleasure of checking out a movie from 2014 that is a horror comedy mixture and just took the horror comedy genre to a whole new level. Now, this film was co-directed by two gentlemen, one being Carrie Murnon, and then the other being Jonathan Malott. Now, these two guys co-directed, co-created this film, and really haven't done much directing in a huge scale. This is really kind of like their first to second, first really directorial film. I believe this is actually their directorial debut by them. Simply the fact that a couple of the other things that they've directed came out a few years later. Now, they actually ended up directing another movie with Dave Bautista and also Brittany Snow, which came out last year in 2017 called Bushwicked. I'm really not familiar with this movie. I don't remember it coming out last year. I remember seeing Bautista on another cover of a different film. I knew that he had done some other films last year, but I didn't realize that it was him in this film. Now, this film, like I said, I'm not too familiar with, but it's supposedly kind of like a post-apocalyptic kind of deal, where basically another world war is happening because of some kind of cyber terrorism, basically. And both these gentlemen co-directed this film together, just like they did with Cooties. Now, they also directed a TV show that was on ABC's online service called The Off Season. Now, I'm not too familiar with this show either. I remember hearing about it. I remember seeing, kind of promotions for it, but I really don't know much about it. But once again, it's another type of, different type of, genre, slash kind of film that they mix together some different genres and, take it to a whole new plane. And they give it a whole new idea. They're really good at making interesting and very different types of films and taking certain films that we're so used to and giving them new life and giving it a new idea, basically. And I think that's really cool, and that's pretty much what they did with Cooties. Now, these two gentlemen, I think, did a really good job with directing Cooties. It was one that I had not seen before, or this type of genre, type of film, zombie comedy film. They took the zombies to a whole different level in this film. It was very different, and I loved that. I thought that the comedy and the writing was perfect in it, and I just think they created something really amazing and directed it beautifully. I think they have a lot of great talent in that. I'm looking forward to seeing more from them, because I feel that they have a lot more to provide in, bringing us some great films. And they just, directed the crap out of this film. I mean, everything about it was just, super funny and hilarious and just really fun. Now, this film actually has an all-star cast, and actually one of the main actors that was involved with it was actually one of the producers of it, and he's one of the ones that really wanted to get this film rolling, because he really liked the idea. And of course, that awesome actor is none other than child star himself, Elijah Wood. Now, Elijah Wood you might recognize, of course, from the three Lord of the Ring films. You might recognize him from a slew of other films, like North, The Good Son, Radio Flyer, Spy Kids 3 he was in, Everything's Illuminating, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I mean, a ton of films, and he's just been always an awesome actor. Now, a couple of films I really enjoy him and think are just fantastic films, such as the awesome 1996 film with the awesome Paul Hogan, and that is the film Flipper. Now, this on-screen adaptation of it was, I think, one of the best adaptations that they've done of Flipper. And I thought Elijah Wood was awesome as the main kid. He was really, cool at the time. He just really did a really good job. I liked his passion in the film. I liked how he played kind of a disgruntled teen that really didn't want to be with his uncle, even though his mom shipped him off. I just really liked his relationship he had with the main girl that was in the film, and his relationship with Paul Hogan, and they all just worked really well together. Just a really great family fun film. And I remember watching it back in '96 and thinking, man, this movie's awesome. Saw it on VHS and thinking, oh, this is one of my all-time favorite films, and I fell in love with the film, and I think Elijah was just really awesome in it. Another awesome film that Elijah Wood was in that also stars the awesome Charlie Hunnam, who was in Sons of Anarchy and also Pacific Rim 1. And that is the film Green Street Hooligans. Now, this is the first one. I haven't seen any of the subsequent sequels, but this one was just fantastic. I love the action sequences. I love the storyline. And I just thought Elijah Wood was, like, so cool in this. It was kind of one of his, like, first kind of darker films. And I really appreciated it. I felt he was very mature in this film, that he, took his, like, kind of childhood acting days and pushed it to the side and became, like, a mature acting adult. And I really saw that in this film, and I just loved the great darkness that was a part of this film, like just how dark looking it looked, and just the whole idea behind it. It was a really cool movie, and I thought Elijah was really awesome in it. One of his best films, I feel, along with a couple of the others I've mentioned in previous films. And I just think he's really awesome at at what he does, and he did a really good job in that film. Now, when it comes to Cooties, I thought he was really awesome in it. I loved the kind of nerdy character he played. Didn't know what he really wanted to do with his life, and like what he went through, and like basically like how his character plays out in this film. And I just thought it was really awesome. I really loved it. I loved the nerdiness of it, and I just thought he was a great accompaniment to this film. I thought he was a perfect kind of lead, and he was super hilarious in it too, and I just really liked how he worked off of everyone that was involved with the film. Another awesome actor that we have in this film is none other than Mr. Office himself, and he as Dwight Schrute, and that is Mr. Rainn Wilson. Now, Rainn Wilson you might recognize from a slew of other films. He had a kind of a guest spot in the first Transformers film. He's done other types of films. He was in The Rocker. He was in, Cooties. He was in a whole bunch of slew of films. But a couple that I really enjoyed him and thought he was really super fantastic was none other than the awesome 1999 spoof on Star Trek film, Galaxy Quest. Now, this awesome film starring Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, and the awesome Sir Alan Rickman. It was just an awesome film, and I loved Rainn Wilson's character, Alien, in the film. He was super hilarious. I loved how bland he was and just how funny he was. And I just think that was like a great introduction to his character. Because I really didn't, The Office hadn't started yet, so it was kind of, he was not really known. And so it was funny seeing him in that film, and then seeing how much he's progressed and just how funny of an actor he is and comedian. And he just was so stinking funny in that film. I loved all of his movements in the film. I just loved how he acted towards everything. And he was just really awesome. He was a great accompaniment and a great, casting choice for that film. Now, another great film that he was in that I really enjoyed and thought was super funny, and also a really cool superhero film, and that is the film Super. Now, this movie takes superheroes kind of like where Kick-Ass took it. A very dark, and like if it was real, superheroes were real. Kind of like the same thing with Woody Allen's film, not Woody Allen, but Woody Harrelson's film, Defendor. It was the same kind of thing. A real person becoming a superhero and having to deal with, not having superpowers. He was just a normal human and dealing with the consequences of him being a superhero, basically. And that's what Super was, and I thought Rainn was so awesome in it. I loved his dark grittiness in the film. I really liked his very dramatic inspiration to the film, along with the comedy element, and it just was a really awesome and excellent superhero film. Like I said, along the lines of Kick-Ass and also Defendor, it was just as good as those two films, because those movies are fantastic. And just Rainn was really awesome. I loved his whole persona through the whole film, and how he was himself, but at the same time, he took it to a whole new level, and I just thought it was a really well-done film, and great acting by Rainn. But when it comes to Cooties, he was absolutely freaking hilarious. Oh my god, I could not stop laughing every time he said something in that film, because he was just so damn good. He just was so hilarious, so perfect for the role. I loved his relationship with Elijah Wood and everyone else in the film, and just how he played off of them. And his comic timing was so perfect in that film, and just was so hilarious. And I hope he gets more roles, because he's just such a delight to see, because he is so freaking hilarious. Absolutely love that man. I think he's a great comedian too. But he was so awesome in Cooties. Definitely worth just watching it just for Rainn Wilson, because he's so awesome. We also have in the film An awesome actress that has been around for the last 20 years, and I just think is a great actress, really funny. I love how she always kind of plays like the nerdy type of gals. She's very cute and beautiful, and she's just a fun pleasure to watch, and that's Miss Allison Peel. Now, Alison Pill, you might recognize from a few other things, like just recently she was in American Horror Story Season 7 Cult as Sarah Paulson's love interest in the film. She also has been in some other TV shows, other movies over the years, ones that were, different types of genres. I mean, she's done kind of drama, she's done comedy, she's done, like, teeny bopper films. She's just a really well-rounded actress. I thought she was really good in Dan in Real Life, too. Now, a couple films I really enjoyed her and thought were her fantastic roles were such films as the awesome Lindsay Lohan film from the early 2000s that was made by Disney called Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, which I think Alison Pill was super hilarious in. I loved how neurotic she was. I loved how, nerdy she was. But at the same time, she played so well off of Lindsay Lohan's character because she was, such a drama queen. And they paired very well together, and I thought she did a great job in that film. And I really loved her relationship also with Megan Fox in the film, too. I thought she was really good at playing off of her, too. And they just all worked very well together in that film. Now, another film I really enjoyed her in and thought was just a fantastic comic book to movie, type of thing. And that is the film Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Now, this awesome movie, she plays the drummer girl, and I think she's just absolutely awesome as that character. I really thought she was hilarious. I loved her, very goth, presentation of the character, how she was very kind of, bland and dull, very, just very, manly-like and stuff like that. I just thought it was very funny, and I thought she did a really good job. I thought she gave that character a lot of credit and gave us an idea of what that character was like in the comic books. And I just thought she was really fun in the film. I really enjoyed her, and I thought she was a great accompaniment to everyone involved in the film, along with Michael Cera and Mary and, everyone that was involved. Even Chris Evans was in that film, and I thought it was hilarious, and he was awesome in it too. But yeah, freaking Alison Pill was really awesome in that film. Really enjoyed her. Now, when it comes to Cooties, I really liked her character in this too as well. I really liked how she was kind of like this hometown girl, kind of rebel a little bit, and at the same time, she's kind of sweet-natured, but at the same time, she's got a dark side that she can come out if it needs to be, and be, stern and, saying, this is what's going to happen, this is what we're going to do. And I just really liked that character. I thought she was really awesome. I thought she played well off of Rain and Elijah and everyone involved, and just was really funny and awesome in the film, and I really enjoyed her in it. Now, another awesome cast member that was in this film that I think was absolutely hilarious too as well, and I think is just a great comedian all around, and that is Mr. Jack McBrayer. Now, Jack McBrayer, you might recognize, of course, as Kenneth from 30 Rock, that was on for 7 seasons. You also might recognize him as the voice in the first Minions film. But a couple films I really loved Jack in and thought he was super hilarious in were none other than an awesome 2008 film starring Kristen Bell, Russell Brand, Jason Segel, and that is the film Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Now, this movie, I absolutely love this film. This is probably one of my greatest and fun films. This movie got me through a lot of, just days where I thought I would never find somebody to love and to be loved. And this movie just made me feel, good about myself because, there is always somebody out there for you. And that's just what this movie did for me. And I absolutely love it. I thought Jack McBrayer's character in the film was super hilarious. Him, just getting married and trying to, commence the marriage, and he's having a hard time, and she wants to do crazy things, and he doesn't because of his religion. And he's basically Kenneth in the film, and I just think that's so funny that he pretty much plays the same type of character in every film he's in. And he just was super hilarious, and I love it. One of the lines in the film where he's talking and he's like, we can't do it, and he's like, and then he asks Russell Brand for help and he's showing him how to do things. It was just so stinking funny. Absolutely love Jack in that film. Definitely check out that film if you haven't seen it. Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Really good film, people. Really well done. Made by the people that did, 40-Year-Old Virgin and stuff like that. Really fun. Jack is awesome in it. Another great film that Jack was in that I really enjoyed and thought he was awesome in is the film They Came Together, which stars Amy Poehler and Paul Rudd, which is an awesome, excellent film, too. Oh my god, that movie is so freaking hilarious, too. It's kind of a take on rom-coms, and it's making fun of them and stuff like that, which I think is really fun and funny. And it's just a really fun film, and Jack McBrayer's character in the film is super hilarious. Loved his character, thought it was super hilarious, and I just think it was one of his best roles. And just how he presented the character in the film too was like super hilarious too, and kind of that Kenneth feel from Third Rock, but with a little bit more of flair and stuff. And I think he was absolutely hilarious in that film. Really enjoyed him in it, and thought he was really good. And that's just like I said, a great film. He was just a great accompaniment to that film, along with Paul Rudd and everyone involved in it. And he just was like super hilarious. I love some of the scenes he was in because they were just like so laugh hard type of roles and scenes, and you're just like laughing so hard. Sometimes you have to like pause the movie to stop laughing so hard because his scenes were just so sticking funny. And there's like this one scene at the beginning of the movie where he comes and he's like, "Did you say something?" And he gets something thrown at him and stuff like that, and he's like, "Oh my god," and stuff like that. It was just so stinking funny. If you haven't seen that film, definitely check that one out too. They came together, super funny people. Especially if you're a big rom-com fan, this is a great film that makes fun of rom-coms, kind of along the lines of like the scary movies and the 50 Shades of Black movies and stuff like that. Super funny, and Jack McBrayer was just really awesome in it. When it comes to Cooties, I absolutely loved his character. He plays a totally different character in this film. I mean, he's a little bit of Kenneth, but he's definitely a lot different in this film. I love his character. Thought he was super funny. Loved the background of the character and what they do with him and make him turning out to be gay and stuff like that. It's super funny, and I thought he did a great job at it. Just was another great accompaniment to everyone involved in the film. Just really did well, and he just made a great film, and he was great. He worked so well off of everyone else in the film and just made it so much fun. So like I was saying, this movie has a huge cast. So there's a couple other honorable mentions I like to mention. We also have involved in the film, and that was part of the cast, was none other than the man that created Saw with Mr. James Wan, and that is Mr. Lee Whannell, who is awesome and excellent and just really amazing. And just a really funny comedian, too. I love his humor. I love his writing style, and I thought he was a great character in the film. He kind of plays like this nerdy science kit guy, and he kind of, along throughout the movie, is examining the zombies and trying to figure out what's causing it and why it doesn't affect them and stuff like that, which is really awesome. And I thought he did a really good job with that and just made it super funny, and he was really awesome. Another awesome actress that was involved in this film was none other than a beauty herself, Miss Nasim Pedrad, who was also in this film. I think was super hilarious, really fun, and a great addition to the cast as well. You might recognize her from the short-lived John Mulaney show as well, but she has done guest work on other things. She was also in the first season of Scream Queens. She was also guest starred in other comedy series that have been on. She's just a fun and hilarious comedian too, I think. She has some good potential and just is super funny. Then also we had, from Lost himself, Mr. Jorge Garcia was also in this film, who was super hilarious. Really enjoyed him in the film too, because he was super tripping throughout the whole film. He was like a crossing guard basically that was high on shrooms and weed and stuff like that, and I thought that was super funny. He was a real pleasure to see in the film too. Unfortunately, some of his scenes got cut, but if they were included in the film, I think it would have been more hilarious and just made his character even more fun. So if you're not familiar with what Cooties is about, basically the premise of this film is at this school somewhere in East Coast, basically an outbreak of zombies are created that are kids, not adults, but kid zombies from these really bad chicken nuggets that they get at the school. And basically the movie's about how the adults are trying to stay away from the kid zombies and try to live and escape and not to be eaten by these zombie kids. And basically that's what the premise of the movie is, about them trying to figure out what to do and to stop them and to get out of the school alive. And that's pretty much the premise, which I thought was an awesome premise. We really haven't ever seen just zombie kids, and it doesn't affect adults, where if they get bitten or scratched, they don't get turned into a zombie, they just kind of get sick a little bit. So I thought that was quite interesting and a different take on the zombie genre, and I love that about this film. Thought it was really awesome and a great, idea and concept. Super funny and hilarious. Great action sequences. Very much like the B-movie horror kind of films. Along the lines of if you liked Return of the Living Deads or Night of the Living Deads and stuff like that. It totally makes me think of that kind of genre type of film, and I thought they did an amazing job with it. Really funny and awesome. Really great film. Giant 10 golden movie box on this one. I definitely can't wait to include and add this to my collection. Super funny, and I just absolutely loved it. Thought it was great. Everyone involved was really awesome, and they were so beautifully directed. Great music, too, as well. Awesome soundtrack, too, if you like, 80s type of theme sound, electronic sounds. This movie has that in it, which I thought was really awesome and did it really well. Love that about that, and it just was a really great movie. Can't wait to see more from those guys. Definitely awesome flick, people. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Worth the watch. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, and also thank you for subscribing. And if it's your first time here, or if you've been here before and you haven't hit that subscribe button, what are you waiting for? A grand invitation, hit that button so you don't miss one of these awesome videos I put up, or any of the awesome videos I put up. And as always, keep your eyes out for any older, newer videos you might not have seen yet. And also, please check out that awesome link down below about the awesome Horror Pack. Now, Horror Pack is a subscription service that comes right to your door every month of either 4 DVDs or 4 Blu-rays of horror films. Now, some of these times you get some really good movies, sometimes you get really rare films, and it's just worth the price and so awesome at the same time. But also, each box comes with a limited edition you can't get anywhere else. So if you're a huge collector of like out of prints or anything that's special or a limited edition, what better way to get it included in your price and not being, raked out the butt by some crazy person trying to sell it for $500 on eBay. So this is an awesome service, people. You should definitely check it out. So if that's something that interests you, hit that link down below and you will get sent to the site and also get a code for a discount on your first month. And as always, also, check out the awesome Stardust app, people. The Stardust app, it's such an awesome app. You can either download it on the Google Play Store or the Apple Play Store, where you can watch 3 to 30-second little mini reviews of films, TV shows, trailers, anything you can think of that your heart desires. And also, this is just an awesome app that comes out with cool, new, updated, and awesome stuff all the time, people. So definitely check that out. And if you download it, go ahead and look for me under Cyberneticshark 2 and follow, and I'll follow you back. And as always, catch you in the next one.